Usually, in video games, glass is just a transparent texture. It is boring. But in cinematic games like The Matrix or Uncharted, glass is a physical object. It bends light, it has weight, and when you hit it, it shutters exactly where you shrek in. Today, in just 60 minutes, we are going to build that system from scratch. We will combine optic to making it look real, and chaos physics to making it break, and a blueprint programming logic to making it interactable. Let's get started. Here is the flow of the tutorial today. For the first phase, we are going to make the material much more like a realistic glass. And the second, we will break the glass into a geometry collection. And then we will add a blueprint to those objects to tell them what should they do. And the last phase is to combine them together to break the glass by the bullet. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to create complex glass material using scientific concepts like index of refraction, Fresnel, and thin translucence. And you may also convert a static mesh into geometry collections and control how they break using fracture settings and anchors. And use the blueprint to create interactive system where objects communicate while hit events and act attacks. To create a custom tools like understanding the blueprint inheritance by creating custom child version of the master field engine tool. And last, you can implement professional game optimization techniques like lifespans and collision filtering to keep games running smoothly. First, let's talk about the science of glass. Why does glass look like glass? If I just make a material transparent, it look like a ghost or a piece of plastic. To make it look like heavy, expensive glass, we need to simulate two things. The first thing is the refraction. Light doesn't travel in a straight line through the glasses. It slows down and bends. The scientific number of this is 1.52. If we don't tell the engine this number, our glass will look like a thin air. The second thing is the Fresnel effect. Have you ever looked at the shop window from the side? It will become into a mirror. But when you look straight at it, it is clear. That change from clear to mirror is called Fresnel. We are going to use a special mode in Unreal called thin translucency. This is a cheaper, faster way for the computer to calculate light for flat objects like windows without wasting energy calculating the inside of the glass. First, we need a glass material that doesn't look like plastic wrap. We are going to set up a standard translucent material that catches the light properly. So I'm going to create a new material and rename it as m underscore glass and double click to open it. And then I change the blend mode to translucent. The shading mode will change to thin translucent because we are a thin glasses. And then change the lighting mode to surface for shading. and enable the refraction method to index refraction. This will enable us to adjust the refraction here. And then since we are using the thin translucent shading mode, so we need to add one more output node called thin translucent material output. So I have prepared a texture glasses, just drag and drop to the graph here, and then connect the RGB to the base color. And to make it much more like a real world glass, so I will add a light blue transmittance color and get a constant for vector here and change the color to the light blue, real light blue, yes. And then change the roughness to 0. And then I will add a node called Fresnel. And this will make the glasses center more clear and the edges a oblique on the edges. So we can connect the Fresnel to the opacity override here. And then change the reflection to 1.52. This is a standard glasses index in real world. And then we can save the material here. Um, yep. And then go back to the static mesh of our glasses and double click to open it. We have to attach our material to the glasses. So look at the material section here and change it to our material and glass. And yes, you will see a very nice glasses here. Now that it looks like glass, let's make it breakable. But here is the problem. Computer doesn't know how to break a simple cube. So we are applying the chaos destructions. So let's talk about the chaos destructions. As shown here, in this cube example, you can create stunning real-time destructions effect, shattering object into countless pieces or breaking them apart in controlled cinematic ways, from crumbling walls to exploding structures. Chaos lets you craft immersive, interactive environment that reacts. Let's define some key concept before we start our tutorial. A geometry collection is a chaos-ready mesh designed to break apart realistically. Factoring is a is the process of pre-slicing this mesh to determine the shape of the broken pieces. And the last one is the damage threshold, act as the object health, controlling when and how it's break under impact. So how to use the chaos destructions to destruct something? And look at the Voronoi. And this is the diagram emergent by radial growth from seeds outward. It's a key technique in chaos destructions. This diagram helps control how mesh fractured by defining the disrupt distribution of breakpoints or sites. In Unreal Engine, provide couple predefined methods like uniform, the standard for Voronoi, cluster, radial, and even you can custom the fracture. And this diagram explains another method operation by chaos destructions which called Boolean. These methods combine or subtract shape as shown with the cube. Controlling the cutter shape allows the customer's cut. The slide operation represented by a plane create clean, flat, break for precise destructions effects. And this is combining different shape of the Voronoi and the Boolean concept to apply in a different material. And these slides introduce the level of destructions in chaos. This is only the concept of the destructions detail. Level 0 represents an intact object with no cracking. And in the middle, level 1 introduced minimal fracturing, like small crack or chips. Level 2 ramps up the intensity, creating more significant break and scattered, allowing you to control the degree of destructions for dynamic immersive effects. And you will see the demo here about level 1 and level 5 destructions. In this image, I set both damage threshold to 0 to look at the result. Level 1 represents the minimal damage with small fracture or break. Level 5, on the other hand, signifies extreme destructions where objects are heavily shattered, giving you full control over the visual impact of your scenes. Alright, it's time to break the glasses. And now normally, if we fracture this glass, gravity will pull the whole thing down immediately. To stop that, we use anchors. Think the anchors as a super glue for the edges. And good news is, I have already set this up for you, and you will see the four yellow boxes around the glasses. And this will lock the edges so the window frame actually holds the glass. And just take a quick look so you know what magic happens here. So this is a demonstrations about the anchors fields, and I have also set the geometry collection of the glasses damage threshold to 0, and you will see the glass inside the anchor fields will be freeze while the remaining parts will fall to the floor. And just take a look. Can you see here? Still remaining in the air. So we need to make it become a geometry collection before we fracture the classes. So we change the mode to the fracture mode here. And then click the new. And click the create geometry collections. Once you click it, it will save to the new files to the location you selected here. And after the glasses become a geometry collection, you will see the texture become a checkboard. And now we can use the simplest way to fracture the glass using the uniform. And the minimum size we set to 500 and the maximum size will be the 1000. And you can preview the slides in the stage here. If it is you think it is okay, you can click the fracture and you can preview the broken status by adjust the explode amount here. But however, the real glasses doesn't turn into pieces immediately. It break into a big jagged plant first, and then so we are going to use the cluster to make the physics feel much heavier and realistic. Actually, the cluster will group the pieces together. So we click the cluster, we find a cluster here and select the auto and change the cluster size to 25, which means the size of each group won't larger than 25 centimeters, and then click the auto cluster. And you can check the hierarchy here to check which pieces refractors are grouped in by together. Okay. And now we are going to adjust the damage threshold so it won't break unless we force larger than the threshold. So we're going back to the detail here and find the damage threshold and remove the default value. We just add one damage threshold here and turn it into 500,000. And now we need to make the anchor hold our glasses. So we need to initialization fields here at 4 anchors here. Just select our stage anchors one by one. And you can click the play here to preview the feeling of the glasses, but it should not be broken because we hold the edges of this glass. And of course, you can check out the show bone colors here. And you will see the actual crack on our glasses. So we have the glass. Now we need a weapon to break it. We are going to build an invisible grenade. In Unreal Engine, we don't just hit things to break them. We spawn a physics field. This is a mathematical sphere that pushed things away. We are going to use a professional trick called inheritance. Instead of programming the complex math of a physics field from scratch, we are going to copy the homework of the Epic Games engineers. We will take their master field, which worked perfectly, and create a child version of it. This allows us to just change the magnitude, which is the strength of the grenade, and the radius of which is the size to fit our needs. We need a force of 1 million units because our glass is strong. After preparing the physical body for the glass, we can now create the invisible force that will break it. To break the glass, we need an invisible force. Instead of using a generic tool, we are creating our own custom master field. So what is master field? Think of this as a custom invisible grenade. Building it yourself allows you to control exactly how much power it has and how it interacts with the world. We use a field system actor because it is designed specifically to talk it to chaos physics objects like our glasses. So, in the content drawer, we need to ensure the content engine content is enabled, and it allows us to search the master field in a hidden tool made by Epic Games and search for the master field. And don't click it, we right click the FS master field and we are going to create a child blueprint class here and rename as FS underscore custom MF. And relocate the custom MF to our own folder. Maybe put it inside the static meshes. And why we create a child, so we don't break the original engine file. The child inherits all the complex math, but let us change the setting easily. So double click on it. And in the detail panels, we need to modify some attributes here, like the delay amount we set to 0.1 to ensure the explosion will be triggered after it spawns. Uh, and now we have a ball and a window. We need to introduce them to each other. We need a handshake. When the ball hits the window needs to know two things. The first thing is, where did you hit me? So we can spawn the explosion here. And who are you? The concept of safety text is to it is the most important part of the game performance. When glass shatters, 500 pieces start flying away. If one piece hits another pieces, the window may think, "Oh, I have been hit again," and trigger another explosion. This creates an infinite loop that will crash your computer. To stop this, we give the playboards a security badge called Breaker, and this is a tag in Unreal Engine. We tell the glass only listen to object with the Breaker badge. So after we made a grenade, and we need to tell the glass where to explode it, so we have to create the bullets first. And in the content drawer, I create a new blueprint class, just a simple actor, and rename a BP bullet. and double click to open and add a simple sphere as our bullet shape. Of course, you can replace the scene's roots and scale like to make the bullet like a bullet shape. Very nice. And remember to add the collisions as well. And for the both object, we need to enable the simulation generate hit event because we need to hit the glass. And the collision preset, we can choosing the um, block or dynamic since our glass is a dynamic object. And search for the CCD as well. This will make, because our bullet is moving so fast, this will enable to check the collision more frequently. And for the roots, we search the last things tag and then add a new tag breaker. And please be ensure you remember the capital letter and the spelling of this tag because this act like an ID card and we are giving the player a special badge that say this bullet allows to break the glasses. So we need another blueprint object called to storing the glasses and the corresponding logic since the geometry collections cannot be contain any blueprint. So I create another actors object called BP Plus and open it and add a geometry collection here and replace the scenes root. And same as the bullet, we need to simulate the generate hit event, ensure the bullets can hit on the classes. And the collision presets, we set the block all the objects, including the players. And then for the geometry collections, we need to find out the collections here, the rest collections, and select our classes. Yep. And here you will see the our classes displayed on the viewport. And go to the event graph now. Missing something. We need to add this event on component heat. This is the event will be executed when some other components like our bullets hit our glasses and then we spawn our grenade in the hitting location. So the first things here we need to do is to check the collision actor is that our breakable objects. So we add a actor has tag here and check the tag breaker. Same as our bullet, same as the tag here. And never mind. And using the branch to check the object. If yes, we can spawn our grenade and call fs custom master view. And we need to tell the spawn locations, and we need to split the strike pin here, and you will see the location, rotation, and the scale, and break the hit here as well. And you will see the location. This is the hitting point as well, and just drag it into the spawn transform location. Yep. And then compile, save, and that's it. We have the glass and we have the explosion too. But we are missing one thing, the delivery system. We don't want to just walk into the glass and to break it. We want to shoot it from a distance. To do this, we are going to make a debug program to simulate a bullet shoot. So in this program, we will do three things. One is to get the left mouse button. Once the user clicks the left mouse button, it will spawning a bullet. And the last thing is the bullet has to add the velocity towards to the glass to break the glass. So after we create the BP classes with our logic, we need to replace the scenes geometry collection class. So first we can drag the blueprint classes and delete the geometry classes and relocate our new class and select in the detail panel, select the geometry collections here and look at the initialization fields here. We need to add those anchor again. If you want, you can check the damage here to look at the default damage threshold. If everything is okay, we can create another class to shoot our bullet. And we will going to where I am going to create a new actor, called it BP testing, because this is just for our testing to breaking the glasses. And go to the event graph and remove the actor being overlap and the event text and add a enable input here. This will allow us to use those button events directly in this blueprint, but we need to tell which player controller it's, so we're directly using the get player controller, and then we can use the left mouse button directly. And once we pressing the left mouse button, we can spawn our bullet to search the class BP bullet. And for the location here, we are going to spawn our bullet in front of our player camera. So we need to get our player camera manager and get the camera location Also, the forward vector of our camera, forward vector, and multiply by around 200 to ensure the bullet will spawn in front of the camera. So to integer here and around 200 and add them together, and for the result, which is our spawn transform location. And remember the rotation we need to add as well. Otherwise, the bullet will fly horizontally. So here we can get the camera rotation and connect the result to the spawn transform rotation. Yep. Make it pretty. Very nice. And remember to save and compile it. And our bullet now is missing something, that the bullet cannot be fly by itself, so we need to add another component in the BP bullet called a projectile, and set the initial speed to 3000 and the maximum speed as well. And again, save and compile. Okay, class, we have a problem. Right now, to break the glass, we have to run our character face first into the wall. That looks silly, and it makes it hard to test specific corners of the window. So we need a testing tool. We need to build a gun mechanism. But how do we tell the computer to shoot exactly where we are looking? In games like Call of Duty or Fortnite, when you shoot, the bullet doesn't technically come from the gun barrel. It often comes from your camera. We need to program three specific steps in the blueprint. The first is the location. It is, where does it start? We ask the engine, where is the camera right now? This gives us the XYZ starting point. And the rotation, where is it looking? We ask, which way is camera facing? This gives us the forward vector. Think of this as an invisible arrow pointing straight out of your screen. And the last thing is the velocity, and which is the speed of our bullet. If we just spawn a ball at the camera, gravity will pull it straight down to your feet. This it will be boring, not shooting out the bullet. So we need to take the forward vector and multiply it by a huge number like 3000 to get the forward destination point. So after we settle all the things, we can test our result and just dragging the testing somewhere else in the scenes and start and try to shoot out the bullet to see the result. You will see once you shoot the shoot shoot to the glass, and you will see the fancy hole here. It will look like a realistic glass brick here. And yes, that's it. What today we learned. Let's So I want to give you a golden rules. This which maybe is your best practice to ensure the quality and performance. Remember the 500 rule and don't over fracture. Keep the shade around 500 for cinematic looks. 2000 above shade will lag the game, so every shade is a separate physics calculation. So too many equals to slow frame rate. The second is the ghost journey. So for the second one is the ghost grenade because we have to spend a lot of grenade once the bullet hits the glass. So allow the master field to break the glass. We need to set the lifespan no around 0.5 seconds. If you don't do that, the invisible fields will pipe up in memory forever, eventually crashing the game again. So the third thing is the glass jar. This is the physics balance of the threshold sweet spot is around 500 is ideal. If you set the thresholds too low, it will be easy to break from the gravity or wind. If you set the threshold too high, likely around 10 millions, it is indestructible. So remember this rule. Your field magnitude must always be double of the glass threshold. Like we have the set 100, and the fourth is the double material. And this is to measure index, always ensure index 0 is the outside and the index 1 is the inside material of the geometry collections. Use the same material at the start. If they are differ, the pre-cut lines will glow and look fixed. So at the last one, you better to have a debugging checklist because if it won't break, you can check the anchor, you can check the tag, check the force, check the physics, or something else to ensure the settings is correct, the tag is setting correctly, and the magnitude is greater than the threshold, and it is the master field set the external string. And congratulations, you have built a fully functional, professional grade glass destruction system. You have learned how to make glass look like real using refraction and Fresnel, physics, how to use geometry collection and anchors, and how to use inheritance, anchor tags, and heat events to create intelligent game mechanics. And what next? You can add some sound effects to the glass, trying to add a play sound at location right after the spawn actor to add a shattering glass sound effects. And particle, trying to create a Niagara particle system, glass dust, and spawning it at the same location. After that, you can make a specific weapon that doesn't break the glass. Just don't give it the break attack is okay. You now have the skill to make your game world feel truly alive. Keep experimenting and happy creating.